Have you ever stood over your stove watching an egg sizzle in the pan thinking you're doing something great for your health, only to wonder later if you might have missed something crucial, that golden yolk, that satisfying crack, the savory aroma? It all feels so right. But what if hidden in your daily breakfast ritual lies a simple mistake that slowly undermines your well-being? Eggs are often hailed as one of nature's most complete foods, packed with protein, vitamins, and essential nutrients. They're versatile, affordable, and a staple in kitchens across the world. But here's the surprising truth. The way you handle, store, and cook eggs can either amplify their superfood powers or strip them down, even turning them into a subtle health threat. In this video, we're cracking open the truth quite literally. We'll reveal 5 common, often overlooked mistakes that might be sabotaging your health every time you prepare eggs. And don't worry, we're not here to shame your cooking habits. We're here to empower you with simple, science-backed strategies to make eggs safer, more nutritious, and even more delicious. So stay with me until the very end. Because once you know these hidden pitfalls and how to fix them, you'll never look at your breakfast plate the same way again. Before we dive in, please take a second to like this video. It really helps me keep sharing helpful, eye-opening content like this. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out. If you enjoy this video, comment 1 below. If not, let me know by typing 0. Your feedback helps me get better just for you. All right, let's begin with the very first mistake, and trust me, almost everyone has made it. Mistake 1. Overcooking eggs, the silent nutrient killer. It's something we've all done. Maybe you were distracted. Maybe you just like your eggs a little crispy around the edges. But overcooking eggs is one of the most frequent and most underestimated mistakes people make in the kitchen. At first glance, it might not seem like a big deal. After all, an egg is an egg, right? You crack it, cook it, eat it, done. But the science behind what happens when you expose eggs to excessive heat tells a very different story. Let's start with what makes eggs so special. Each one is a tiny powerhouse loaded with high-quality, protein-healthy fats and a cocktail of essential nutrients like choline, selenium, vitamin D, and B12. But here's the catch. These nutrients are sensitive. When eggs are cooked too aggressively, fried at high temperatures until the edges darken, boiled until the yolk turns grayish-green, or scrambled in a blazing hot pan, they begin to break down in ways that can diminish their benefits and even create harmful compounds. What's really happening inside that frying pan? When an egg is overcooked, especially under high heat, it undergoes oxidation, a chemical process that alters the structure of its fats and cholesterol. This change may seem invisible at first, but it can lead to the formation of oxidized cholesterol. Why does that matter? Because oxidized cholesterol has been linked to inflammation in the body, a slow-burning condition associated with a laundry list of chronic diseases including heart disease and atherosclerosis. And it's not just theoretical. The effects, though subtle at first, can build up over time. If you've ever peeled a hard-boiled egg and caught that strong sulfuric smell like rotten eggs, you've witnessed this overcooking firsthand. That odor is a sign that the egg's proteins have reacted with its iron to form iron sulfide, a harmless but clear indicator that things have gone too far. The gray-green ring around a yolk is another red flag. It doesn't mean the egg is toxic, but it does mean the nutrients you were hoping to get have taken a hit. Now let's be clear, one rubbery scramble or extra crispy fried egg isn't going to send you to the hospital. But over time, consistently eating eggs prepared this way may quietly chip away at your health, especially for older adults whose bodies already face heightened inflammatory stress or nutritional sensitivities. A real-life wake-up call. Meet Robert. Consider the story of Robert, a 76-year-old retired teacher with a fondness for a hearty breakfast. For over 40 years, his morning ritual never changed 2 fried eggs in a hot skillet cooked until the edges were crackling and brown. To Robert, that crispy texture was perfection. But over the years, something began to shift. He started experiencing occasional digestive issues, bloating, heartburn, and a sluggish feeling that lingered well into the day. He brushed it off as part of aging until a conversation with an old friend, a former nutritionist, opened his eyes. His friend explained how cooking eggs at high heat could lead to oxidized cholesterol and nutrient loss, and how switching to gentler cooking methods might make a difference. Skeptical but curious, Robert decided to try it. He swapped his high-heat frying for a low, slow scramble egg stirred softly in a warm pan with just a dab of butter. After just a couple of weeks, the changes were undeniable. The bloating eased, the heartburn faded, and to his surprise, he felt more energized in the mornings than he had in years. A small adjustment, a big reward. The nutrient cost of overheating. When you overcook eggs, you're not just creating oxidized compounds, you're also robbing yourself of the very nutrients that make eggs worth eating in the first place. Vitamin B12, essential for brain function and energy production. Folate, which supports DNA repair and healthy cell growth. Antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect your vision and support cognitive health as you age. All of these are sensitive to heat. Prolonged high temperatures can degrade them sometimes significantly. And here's the kicker. Even if you eat eggs regularly for their health benefits, overcooking them means your body absorbs far less than it could from a gently prepared egg. Think about that for a moment. You may believe you're fueling your body with a nutrient-rich superfood, but if you're blasting them with high heat, you're only getting a shadow of what you paid for. The easy fix: cook smarter, not harder. The good news: you don't need to give up eggs. You don't even need to abandon your favorite styles. The key lies in mindfulness, specifically in adjusting the cooking temperature and time. Here are a few simple yet powerful techniques. Soft boil, don't hard boil. For a perfectly set yolk with full nutrient retention, boil for just 6 to 7 minutes. Poach with care. This gentle, low-temperature method preserves nutrients and enhances flavor, no oil or intense heat required. Scramble on low. Use medium-low heat and stir slowly. This helps retain texture, taste, and nutrition. Fry with finesse. A touch of oil or butter, moderate heat, and pulling the egg off just before the edges over brown can make all the difference. These small changes not only protect the egg's nutritional integrity, they elevate their taste and texture. Instead of rubbery whites or scorched yolks, you get soft, silky eggs that are a joy to eat and much easier on your body. Mistake number 2. Eating raw or undercooked eggs, a gamble not worth taking. There's something appealing about the idea of going raw. It feels primal, pure, like tapping straight into nature's unprocessed power. And so some people make it a habit to eat raw or undercooked eggs, convinced they're unlocking the food's fullest nutritional potential. You've probably heard someone rave about raw egg smoothies, sunny side up yolks of eggs, or even tossing a raw egg into protein shakes post-workout. On the surface, it seems like a nutrient jackpot. And in fairness, eggs truly are nutritional gold, packed with high-quality protein, vitamin D for bone strength, B12 for brain function, and minerals like selenium and phosphorus. So why ruin that with cooking, right? But here's the critical truth that often gets overlooked. Eating eggs raw or undercooked isn't just unconventional, it's risky. Behind that glossy yolk lies a very real and potentially dangerous threat: salmonella. This harmful bacterium doesn't always announce itself with a bad smell or strange appearance. It can lurk silently on the eggshell, or even inside the egg, waiting for a chance to invade your digestive system. And while some might roll the dice and escape unscathed, others aren't so lucky, especially older adults, whose immune systems may no longer be as resilient as they once were. Think it's a small risk. Think again. The hidden dangers: what salmonella can do. Let's say you're in your 20s or 30s. Your body might handle a small bacterial load with little more than an upset stomach. But if you're in your 60s or beyond, the same exposure could evolve into a full-blown health crisis. The symptoms of salmonella poisoning aren't just inconvenient, they're brutal. It often starts subtly: a mild stomach ache, maybe a queasy feeling. But then come the waves of nausea, relentless cramps, fever, vomiting, and diarrhea. For older adults, these symptoms can lead to severe dehydration, kidney strain, or even life-threatening complications like sepsis and infection that spreads throughout the body. Now imagine going through all that because of one raw egg in a seemingly innocent smoothie. Not worth it, right? And just because your eggs come from a trusted grocery store doesn't guarantee safety. Even clean-looking, uncracked eggs can harbor salmonella if they were contaminated at any point during production, packaging, or transport. The appearance of an egg tells you nothing about what might be hiding inside. A real-life wake-up call. Meet Margaret. Take Margaret, for example, a vibrant, health-conscious 68-year-old retiree who prided herself on living clean and staying active. Every morning, like clockwork, she whipped up a raw egg smoothie, blending it with fruit and juice. She'd read that raw eggs delivered more bioavailable nutrients and swore it gave her more energy than coffee ever could. That was until one ordinary morning turned into a nightmare. It began with mild discomfort and odd churning in her gut. Then came the nausea. By nightfall, she was curled in bed, feverish and in pain. The vomiting was relentless. Her energy vanished. After a rushed trip to the doctor, the diagnosis hit hard: salmonella poisoning, and it came from her trusted longtime breakfast ritual. The recovery wasn't easy. It took Margaret weeks to regain her strength, but the experience changed her. Determined not to compromise her health again, she adjusted her routine. She still enjoyed her morning eggs, but now they were scrambled, boiled, or poached, always cooked until both the whites and yolks were firm. And guess what? The energy was still there. The nutrients were still working their magic. But the fear, that was gone. A small change had made all the difference. The biotin blocker, another hidden drawback. As if salmonella wasn't reason enough to steer clear of raw eggs, there's another issue most people never even hear about avidin. Avidin is a protein found in raw egg whites that binds to biotin, a vital B vitamin responsible for metabolism, nerve function, healthy skin, and hair growth. When raw eggs are consumed, avidin latches onto biotin like Velcro, preventing your body from absorbing it properly. Over time, this biotin deficiency can quietly undermine your health. You may not notice it right away. Perhaps it shows up as fatigue, brittle nails, thinning hair, or even mood changes. And by the time it becomes obvious, the damage may already be done. Here's the good news: cooking neutralizes avidin completely. Once eggs are exposed to heat, this protein is deactivated, leaving biotin free to do what it does best: nourish your body from the inside out. But what about organic or free-range eggs? It's a fair question. Aren't organic or free-range eggs safer to eat raw? Unfortunately, the answer is a firm no. While these eggs may offer benefits in terms of omega-3 content or ethical farming practices, they are not immune to bacterial contamination. Salmonella doesn't care whether a hen was raised on a sun-dappled pasture or a factory farm. Contamination can happen anywhere, and it doesn't discriminate. The only proven way to eliminate the risk of salmonella is through thorough cooking. There are no shortcuts. Your safest choice is cooked, not risked. If you love eggs, there's no need to give them up. Just be smart about how you prepare them. Here are the safest, most effective options. Scrambled eggs, cooked gently until fluffy and firm. Hard-boiled eggs with a yolk that's solid all the way through. Poached eggs where the yolk has lost its liquid wobble and is gently set. And if you absolutely crave that silky, runny yolk, consider using pasteurized eggs. These have been heat-treated to kill bacteria while keeping the yolk soft. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a much safer compromise. Still, for full peace of mind, thoroughly cooked eggs remain the gold standard. A few extra minutes of cooking is a small price to pay for long-term health and a whole lot of peace of mind. Mistake 3, storing cooked eggs improperly, a hidden breeding ground for bacteria. It may sound simple once the eggs are cooked. They're safe, right? Unfortunately, that's a dangerously common assumption. In reality, bacteria thrive in warm, moist conditions, and cooked eggs are no exception. The moment eggs are removed from the heat and left to sit at room temperature, especially within the danger zone between 40 and 140 to 60, they become a potential magnet for microbial growth. Here's the shocking truth. Under these conditions, pathogens like Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli can begin multiplying rapidly, doubling in number every 20 minutes. That means a plate of scrambled eggs left on the kitchen counter for just a couple of hours could become a breeding ground for illness, even though it might look and smell perfectly normal. This isn't just a theoretical risk. For older adults who often have less robust immune defenses, the consequences of foodborne illness can be far more severe, ranging from days of vomiting and diarrhea to hospitalization or worse. What might be a day of discomfort for someone in their 20s could turn into a medical emergency for someone in their 80s. A common scenario, a simple oversight with serious consequences. Imagine this: you've just made a delicious batch of scrambled eggs for breakfast. The aroma is still lingering in the kitchen. But then the phone rings. A neighbor stops by. You get pulled into a task. 2, maybe 3 hours later, you remember the plate still sitting on the counter. The eggs look fine, so without giving it a second thought, you grab a fork and dig in. What you don't see is what's happened on a microscopic level during those hours. Bacteria unseen odorless may have already begun to colonize the surface. What was once a wholesome meal now carries the potential to cause stomach cramps, nausea, or even full-blown food poisoning. For seniors, this is especially concerning. As we age, the body's ability to fight off infections naturally declines. What younger adults may shrug off with mild discomfort could send an older person to the ER. Proper storage. Your first line of defense. Avoiding this risk doesn't require complicated science, just a little awareness and quick action. The key: cool and refrigerate promptly. If you're not eating your cooked eggs immediately, they need to be cooled down quickly and transferred to the refrigerator within 2 hours or within 1 hour if the room is especially warm, like during the heat of summer. Once in the fridge, airtight storage is essential. This keeps the eggs safe from exposure to air bacteria and moisture, all of which can accelerate spoilage. Let's break it down. Hard-boiled eggs. If the shells remain intact, they can stay fresh in the fridge for up to 1 week. Scrambled, fried, or poached eggs. These are more delicate and should ideally be consumed within 3 to 4 days. A real story. How George learned the hard way. Take George, a 72-year-old retiree who loved efficiency. Every Sunday, he'd cook up a big batch of scrambled eggs to save time during the week. He stored them in a loosely covered bowl in the refrigerator, and each morning scooped out a portion to reheat. At first, it seemed like a brilliant routine. But within a few weeks, George began to experience nagging stomach discomfort, bloating, nausea, and an occasional cramps. He dismissed it as indigestion or the quirks of aging. But when the symptoms didn't fade, he took a closer look at his habits. That's when it hit him. The problem might be the eggs. The loosely covered container wasn't sealing in freshness or sealing out airborne bacteria. Worse, the large batch often sat too long before being finished. George made one simple change. He began preparing smaller batches and stored them in airtight containers. Within days, the discomfort vanished. A subtle shift made a big difference. Another sneaky threat: cross-contamination. Even if you cook your eggs perfectly and store them right away, there's one more risk that often flies under the radar: cross-contamination. Once cooled, cooked eggs are just as susceptible to picking up bacteria as any other perishable food. If they're stored next to raw meat, unwashed produce, or anything that might harbor harmful germs, contamination can occur, and you might never know until it's too late. Imagine this: you place your freshly cooked eggs in the fridge right above a leaking package of raw chicken. Just a small drip, barely noticeable, can carry salmonella. If it lands on your eggs or even the container lid, your safe meal becomes a ticking time bomb. To avoid this nightmare, store cooked eggs in sealed, leak-proof containers. Keep them on a separate shelf away from raw meats and unwashed produce. Organize your fridge to minimize contact between high-risk items. The final hurdle: reheating, done right now. Let's talk about reheating something many people get wrong. If you've ever tossed leftover eggs in the microwave only to end up with a rubbery, weird-smelling mess, you've seen just how tricky this step can be. Microwaves heat unevenly and often overcook delicate proteins like eggs. Not only does this destroy the texture, but it can also zap valuable nutrients, the very ones you were hoping to preserve. Worse still, if the eggs weren't stored properly in the first place, reheating them won't magically kill off all the bacteria. In some cases, the warm microwave environment may actually make things worse, creating a cozy incubator for pathogens. So what's the safer, tastier option? Gently reheat your eggs on the stovetop over low heat. Add a splash of water broth or a little butter to restore moisture and prevent that dreaded rubbery consistency. This method keeps your eggs flavorful and nutritious, and significantly reduces the chance of overcooking or reactivating bacteria. In summary, a simple but powerful habit shift: improperly storing cooked eggs is one of the most avoidable mistakes and one of the most dangerous if ignored. But with just a bit of care, you can sidestep the risks completely. Cool and refrigerate promptly. Use airtight containers. Keep eggs away from raw or risky foods. Reheat gently, never hastily. These are small actions, but they ripple out, protecting your digestion, your energy, and your peace of mind. Mistake 4: using damaged or expired eggs, a hidden risk in plain sight. Evelyn learned this lesson the hard way. After suffering food poisoning from a spoiled egg, she changed her kitchen habits overnight. From then on, she swore by the water test, gently placing each egg in a bowl of cold water before cracking it open. It became her personal ritual, a small act of caution that made a big difference. And since adopting it, not a single issue. Her story is a powerful reminder even the most careful among us can miss a simple but crucial step. But the risks of bad eggs go far beyond expiration dates. The journey eggs take before they reach your kitchen can introduce invisible dangers. Eggs are far more delicate than they appear, and the way they're handled, especially when it comes to temperature, plays a major role in their safety. When eggs are stored too warm during transport at the grocery store or even at home, something sneaky can happen. Condensation, that tiny layer of moisture, may seem harmless, but it's actually the perfect environment for bacteria. It allows pathogens to seep through the microscopic pores in the shell and into the egg itself. This is exactly why experts recommend storing eggs in the coldest part of your refrigerator, typically the back of a middle or lower shelf. While the fridge door may seem like a convenient spot, it's one of the worst places for eggs. That area experiences constant temperature fluctuations every time the door is open, which can hasten spoilage and increase the chance of contamination, the silent threat of cracks and imperfections. Another risk: cracked eggs. Even a barely noticeable hairline fracture can compromise the protective barrier of the shell, allowing bacteria to sneak inside. You might not notice a crack when you grab a carton off the shelf, but by the time you get ready to cook, that tiny flaw could mean the egg has already spoiled. The rule here is simple. If you see a crack, no matter how small, toss it. The same goes for eggs that look or smell off. If the egg white appears cloudy, the yolk has a pinkish tint, or you catch a faint sulfur-like odor when cracking it, trust your instincts. These are classic signs of spoilage. And while cooking can kill many bacteria, it won't always destroy bacterial toxins that have already developed. Some of those toxins can survive heat and still make you sick. How eggs get to your table, a long and risky road. Think about everything that happens before you bring that carton home. Eggs are laid, collected, packed, transported, and stocked sometimes by multiple handlers. A jolt in the delivery truck could crack a shell. A distracted stocker might leave the carton unrefrigerated for too long. By the time you pick them up at the store, the damage could already be done, and you'd never know just by looking. That's why checking your eggs before cooking isn't just a smart habit, it's an essential one. Here's what to do. Gently roll each egg in your hand or hold it up to the light to spot hairline cracks. Sniff before you cook. If anything smells off, don't take the risk. Use the water testo. If the egg sinks and lies flat, it's fresh. Oh, if it stands upright, it's still okay, but use it soon. Oh, if it floats, it's gone bad, discard immediately. Mistake 5, cooking eggs in unhealthy oils, a nutritious food undone. Now that we've covered how to spot and store your eggs properly, let's talk about what happens next, how you cook them. Because even the healthiest egg can become a problem when paired with the wrong oil. Eggs are packed with nutrition, high-quality protein, healthy fats, essential vitamins and minerals that support everything from brain health to muscle maintenance. But when you fry them in highly processed, low-quality cooking oils, you're unknowingly introducing toxins that can chip away at your health over time. This is particularly important for older adults. As we age, the body becomes more sensitive to chronic inflammation, a root cause of many age-related diseases. The oils we use in everyday cooking play a quiet but powerful role in that equation. Not all oils are created equal. Many people cook eggs in cheap refined vegetable oils like soybean, canola, corn, or generic vegetable oil blends. These oils are staples in most kitchens because they're affordable and easy to find. But here's the problem. They're often refined using high heat and harsh chemicals, stripping away nutrients and leaving behind unstable fats. When these oils are heated, especially in a hot frying pan, they start to break down. This creates harmful compounds like trans fats, oxidized lipids, and free radicals. These substances have been linked to inflammation, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. Real story. Frank's small change made a big impact. Frank, a 78-year-old grandfather, had been cooking his morning eggs the same way for decades. A glug of generic vegetable oil in the skillet crack. The eggs flipped done. He never thought twice oil was oil, right? But after attending a community health talk where he learned about processed seed oils and their effects on the body, Frank decided to try something new. The next week, he swapped his usual oil for butter. Then, he gave extra virgin olive oil a shot. To his surprise, he noticed a difference. Almost immediately, less bloating, improved digestion, and a clearer mind. He even had more energy throughout the day. The eggs tasted better, too. That one small change made his breakfast not just safer, but better in every way. The smoke point problem. Here's where it gets technical. Every oil has a smoke point, the temperature at which it begins to break down and produce toxic byproducts. Many refined oils have low smoke points, meaning they can't handle the high heat required to fry eggs without degrading into something harmful. When that happens, free radicals are released unstable molecules that damage your cells, accelerate aging, and increase oxidative stress in the body. So each time you fry eggs in low-quality oil, you're serving yourself a side of inflammation. Better options for better health. Instead of cooking eggs in unhealthy oils, opt for these safer, more nourishing alternatives. Butter or ghee, rich in flavor, and packed with nutrients like vitamin A and butyrate, which supports gut health. Coconut oil has a high smoke point and contains medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, that offer quick energy. Extra virgin olive oil, full of antioxidants and heart-healthy fats, great for gentle frying. Avocado oil, with a high smoke point and a neutral taste, it's a perfect choice for eggs. These oils are not only more stable under heat, they actually add nutrition to your meal rather than take it away. At the end of the day, eggs are only as healthy as the way we handle and cook them. Whether it's avoiding cracked or expired eggs, storing them safely, or choosing the right oil for the pan, the smallest decisions can have the biggest impact on your long-term well-being. So there you have it, 5 common mistakes that can quietly sabotage your eggs and your health. And more importantly, 5 simple solutions that can keep your meals safe, delicious, and truly nourishing. Now that we've gone through it all, I'd love to hear from you. What was one thing in today's video that surprised you the most? Was it the water test, the danger of raw eggs, the type of oil you use? Drop a comment below and let me know one thing you'll start doing differently from now on. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep making content that helps you live better every day. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and stay healthy.